Hi everyone, it's Brodie again here from the Fitracy program. I'm just going to quickly talk about what our week one topic was, which is what is insulin resistance. So this is a great topic for the mentors and the mentees to just share some information about your own understanding, but it's also important to understand what insulin resistance is so you know why you're trying to change your diet and your exercise. So by creating that foundation and getting each other to understand the links between chronic disease and insulin resistance, it'll just offer you a little bit more motivation or engagement on why it's important to start looking at what you're eating. So I'm just going to share two of the slides that are in your handbook. And I'm going to try and be louder than the lawnmower that's behind me and the barking dog that will come up in a minute as well. So you'll hear them pop in now and then. That's our neighbours down the road. So this diagram is one that we use in our initial Zoom meetings. I also use this one when I first meet somebody in an initial consult, just to explain why we're trying to work on your exercise and lifestyle. So as you can see, these pictures down the bottom where the yellow arrows are, this represents a high carbohydrate, low fat eating plan. So this is one that all of us, I'm sure, have tried. I tried it for years. I did Light and Easy. I did Weight Watchers. None of those programs worked for me. And once I started looking at why they didn't work for me, it made more sense for me to change how I was eating. So the pictures down below: breakfast, morning tea, a salad wrap, afternoon tea of a cracker and fruit, dinner, which was a stir-fried rice, and a fruit cup, were often what was delivered in my dietary packaged meals I ordered. So as you can see, those meals are all very high carbohydrate and low fat. So that's a low calorie diet. Now I'm going to explain why that low calorie diet didn't work for me. So the yellow arrows represent our blood sugar response to those high carbohydrate foods. So as you can see up here in the top box where I'm circling, carbohydrate has the highest blood sugar response, protein has a minimal blood sugar response, and fat has no blood sugar response. So you can see from these pictures here that the blood sugar response is the yellow arrow, quite high for each meal, close together, so often maybe an hour and a half between each meal, 2 hours. That's a 6 meal a day eating plan. And you can see the purple arrows represent our insulin. So our insulin is responding to the high blood sugar response. So insulin's role is like a key. So it turns the key to allow that blood sugar to be pushed into cells, to be converted to energy. What isn't able to be pushed into the cells is then stored as fat. So either fat on your organs or fat on your body. So the more that you have to use these purple arrows or the insulin response, the less effective they start to get over time. So when I explain to people, it's like starting up a whippersnipper 6 times a day. After a while, that whippersnipper is going to break down. You can't keep replacing the cord, and the whippersnipper starts to not work anymore. So one of the things I talk to you guys about is insulin resistance is when this purple arrow stops being so effective, so more insulin is produced. So that insulin, that high insulin level results in a higher insulin score for those people who have been able to get an insulin resistance test or an insulin score in their blood tests. So what I want you guys to talk about this week before we get on to the postman theory, which we'll do in our next presentation, is I want you to have a think about how you can stop your purple arrows from being used so much. So some of the things that you can do could be not have as many yellow arrows, space your yellow arrows further apart, and have no yellow arrows, or have meals with smaller yellow arrows. So if you guys can have a talk about that, look up some of the references that I have provided for you in your folders, in your visual coaching diary. Then we'll go on to another theory on insulin resistance using the postman theory. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks, guys. Bye.